Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to be back. Do I have a story to tell you about yesterday? Well, I thought I'd jump on a few minutes early and I would tell you about what happened, then we'll get into our updates. So, yesterday I had a court hearing for Gregory Lynn in the morning, like real early. It was like 10 a.m. And I went to that hearing, and then we got told, yeah, we're going to do it, but we're going to come back at like 2:15, which is, like, after the court lunch break, and I was like, "Okay." And then at, like, 1, we were told, "Yeah, it's not happening today. You're gonna have to come back another day to do this," and I was like, "Ah, alright, fine." It's because there was another court case on in another court, that had to take priority. So, we basically didn't get to do anything yesterday with Gregory Lynn, so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try to still get a show off the ground before it's too late in the night." And I got home in time to do a show, and what happened was there's no internet. Came home and the signal for the internet was dead. There was not like nothing. And I looked it up and apparently we had some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of maintenance or something going on, and we our net was off until like 7:30 at night. So I was sitting here literally like this, like I am now, like this is my computer. I was doing other work, but I was like sitting here, could have done a show, had all my notes, had no net, couldn't do anything. So I was sitting here through like 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, going, is it going to come up at any time, that I could reasonably get a show off the ground? It wasn't to be. It just, yeah, there's nothing I could do, and so I think what we're gonna do is we're looking at getting some sort of backup, some sort of like 5G, backup signal so that if, this happens again, we won't be hamstrung by the NBN. So the NBN often has these downtimes here. It's ridiculous, like, they are so long, and it's like, why do you need 7 hours to do and why on a Friday afternoon? Like, they couldn't have picked the worst time to run some sort of maintenance upgrade or something. Freaking a Friday afternoon? Like, people got work to do and stuff, like, we got stuff to do. I can't have the net off for, like, half the workday. Like, apparently it went down at midday. And yeah, it didn't come up until about 7:30 at night, so that it was down for half the day. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So, um, yeah, me too. I'm glad I'm here too. We got some good updates though. One of them is Marat Ganev. There is a little bit of an update regarding Isla Bell. And I put this photo up because this is my favorite photo, and I love this because it shows how much support there is for Isla. And to me, it needs it. Right now, her case needs as much support as there is. It seems like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak too far in either direction and get in trouble, but it needs it from the community, from everyone. It needs everyone to keep banding together and keep showing support for her, her family, and the process altogether because so far it has not gone well. And if you don't remember, basically what happened is there was supposed to be a trial earlier this year. At the 11th hour of that trial, the charges were dropped. And I wanted to go into a little bit. We didn't talk about it much the other day, but I wanted to explain to you why those charges were dropped. And I was going to talk to you about causation and how that works with a manslaughter charge. Hold on. I had some notes here that I wanted to talk to you about, like how and why this was doomed to fail. And So when this forensic doctor came up late last year and gave evidence before the court and basically said that they could not determine a cause or manner of death for Isla Bell, that basically doomed that manslaughter charge to fail. And why you go, ping, why is that? And it's because how can you charge someone with manslaughter when you can't tell the jury or the court how they died? Because you're saying that this person over here is responsible for that death. But if you can't say how she died, how can you say they are responsible? So it's doomed to fail based on that fact. And while police and other people have their own ideas about how Isla died, they think they have some on video, they think they have this, but when you have a coroner and a medical examiner come out and basically say, we could not determine beyond a reasonable doubt how she died, it basically, yeah, it it means you cannot legally continue with that case. It's basically doomed. And why it took over 7 months, or what was it, like 5 months to go from November to, like, April, and take that long and get to the eve of the trial to say, "Oh, yeah, that's not gonna work. How about we just not do that and drop all the charges?" In my opinion, that prolonged the suffering for Isla's family to drag them through that court case for those many months. Because you gotta remember, while that was in the Supreme Court, they had come from a lower court, for the last, what, year and a half? So they'd already been through a bunch of hearings in the lower court. So this poor family has been dragged through numerous hearings and evidence and different you know different things to get to that level of the Supreme Court. Because once you're committed to stand trial, so how does it work in Victoria? You go through, normally a murder charge will go through a lower court. Normally it's either a county court or a magistrate's court. You'll go there for the initial hearings, and then once they determine there's enough evidence to stand trial, they'll kick it up to the Supreme Court. Sometimes the county court, but a lot of the times murder charges go to the Supreme Court, and then you sort of start the process of the pre-trial hearings. How is this different? So I wanted to tell you how this is different from the US. In the United States, like we're seeing with the David case, they're running it in the court in LA. That process right now that's going on with David, that is what happens here at that lower court, right? And then it'll go up to the Supreme. So the stuff that's happening with David, how they're having that right now they're showing evidence in front of the court to see if it can be committed to stand trial. That is sort of what happens over here at either the magistrate or the county level. Normally the magistrate, and then it gets kicked up to the Supreme Court once you get to that period when you got to go through all the pretrial hearings and stuff like that. So, hey, Kathy, how are you? Yeah, that would be very kind. I appreciate it. So that's sort of how it works. So this poor family has been dragged through the court system. It's not just for the last 5 months. It's for like a year or so prior to that as well. It is, I think it's very disappointing. It's disappointing that these sort of things weren't picked up earlier, and yeah, so what happened yesterday? So Mr. Ganev's legal team they tried to get a stay order, a permanent stay order. Now, what is a stay order? It would basically stop the case in its tracks. Like if it was granted by the court and it was a permanent one, the case would just basically stop right now. If it was granted by the court, it would basically just go bang, done. It's not like being quashed. It's slightly different from having a conviction quashed, but it basically just it's like suspending it forever. And that's what would have happened if the court agreed to it yesterday. But the court did not. The court said that it is only used in very extreme or unusual circumstances where there is no other way forward. And it is a very rare type of decision that is granted in the court, and often it is not granted. So in this particular case, they did not grant that application, meaning he will not get his stay. The case will go forward from here. and there is another hearing in August. So there is another hearing to go forward in August. That charge, which is the pervert the course of justice charge, that'll continue. So their attempt to try and stop the case in its tracks did not work yesterday, and we got a quick decision from Justice Elliott in the Supreme Court yesterday. So it's a good update. If that had been successful, this would have been a very difficult update because it would have been over. Literally, it would have been over for the case of Isla Bell. For the justice for her and her family, it would have just been over. Like, it would have stopped yesterday. So yesterday was a very big day. Now, each time there is a court hearing for this, there is huge rallies and people outside of the court, which is amazing to see. So many people dedicate their time to trying to support the family, and I love that. I think that's when you see real community in Victoria where I live, and I love it. I think sometimes we all get caught up with like how things work and the process and what's the legal thing and this and that. But sometimes we forget that there's a real family there. There's she had family and they miss her and they want to know what happened to their daughter. Like, they want someone held accountable for their part in why Isla is not here anymore. And I don't think that is too much to ask. I don't. And I think with whoever it is, I don't want to name anyone, whether it's this guy or someone else that night, I don't know, because it hasn't been proven in a court of law. But I will just say that Isla's death does not deserve to go into the waste paper basket and never be heard of again. That girl died that night, and her body was treated with such disdain for her as a human that someone needs to be held accountable. And I don't think, again, that is too much to ask from our justice system, our prosecutors, anyone involved in this. And I know they're trying, but yeah, I would like to see it happen. I don't, it hurts me because I go, how can a young woman die in these type of circumstances where I live? So I live in the area where Isla's body was dumped. And I go, how is it possible that this young girl can be put in a fridge, moved around my area for many weeks and no one really care? And then you try and charge someone and then it falls apart at the 11th hour. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It really is. And I hope that we will continue with these court hearings. I don't know what's going to happen with this particular one, but it's when you go from a murder charge to manslaughter and then now no manslaughter, and we're on this pervert the course of justice charge. Yeah. You don't know anything about this case? Here, let me take you back to when this all happened. So for people who don't remember or are new to the channel, we've followed it since I don't know, since it happened back in October of 2024. My memory is a little, we cover so many cases, I forget what year is what. But I think it was 2024 in October. Here, I'll take you to this. This is from the ABC yesterday. They do great work. Here, I'll play this for you.
Supporters gathering outside court in solidarity with a grieving mother who exited today's hearing in fresh pain.
This process is just so grueling and my heart aches. And I just can't comment.
Her 19-year-old daughter, Isla Bell, disappeared in October 2024. Weeks later, Miss Bell's body was found at a rubbish tip. 55-year-old Marat Ganiev was charged with Miss Bell's murder. The prosecution later downgraded the murder charge to manslaughter, but they dropped that charge a few months ago, bringing a fresh indictment of attempting to pervert the course of justice. Then last week, Mr. Ganiev applied for a permanent stay, effectively asking the court to abandon the case.
And I'm here to advocate for Isla because she's got no voice.
His lawyer argued the changes to the case amounted to an abusive process. But today, Justice James Elliott disagreed, telling the court the changes can't be characterised as an abusive process, and he wasn't aware of any reason to halt the case. During Justice Elliott's ruling, the court heard new information that Mr Ganiev had bought prescription opioid methadone on the last day Miss Bell was seen alive. He said methadone was one of multiple substances detected in her body after death, leading forensic experts to find the cause of death unclear. Justice Elliott also told the court that Mr Ganiev initially lied to police about Miss Bell's whereabouts and then later admitted she died in his apartment. The court heard he thought she was sleeping and then panicked and cried when he realised she was dead. And after some time, he put her body in a fridge. Marat Ganiev will face trial at a later date. Andy Yu, ABC News, Melbourne.
So there you go, a good little update from the ABC. I love their work with the court. I often see them there when I'm there. They're always working. It is a very sad case. Like, you hear her mum, she can barely talk outside of that court. I think she's so tired. I would be tired too, being dragged through the court every couple of weeks and having to come in and then relive your daughter's hardest moments in life over and over and over again. It must feel like Groundhog Day. It really must. To have to go into a courtroom and hear the minute details of how your daughter is alleged to have died, it's torture. There's nothing else to say about it. It is a type of torture. Chipmunk said, super frustrating. The process is traumatic. Yep. And the fact that, not always when we go to these court cases do they ever sort of go right. There's millions of things that can happen, and sometimes they just don't get to the end, and it's a real shame. I don't know what we can do. The only thing I can think of here is that there would have to be some new extraordinary evidence that comes forward to be able to refresh that manslaughter or murder charge. That's the only thing I can think of, is that some evidence that they don't have, something that would explain how Isla died, that would have to come forward for any new charges to be able to be filed in the future. At the moment, this is the only charge we're able to go forward on, is that attempting to pervert the course of justice charge, which we showed you the other week. The results out of all courts in Victoria show that the median sentence for that charge is less than 1 year in jail. So the prospects of, even if there is a conviction in this type of charge, the chances of serving any substantial jail time out of it is very low. They would have to show in court that this is outside of the ordinary, that the sentencing range that has been applied over the last 5 years, which is, I told you, the majority of them are under 1 year in jail. They would have to show that this is at the upper echelon of that type of offending, where it deserves to be treated in that higher bracket of sentencing. I don't know if they can do that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it is back in court sometime in August for another update hearing. So it's going to be a while until we actually get to trial on that particular charge. I think it's unlikely we'll see it before the end of the year. I mean, I would hope it's before the end of the year, but I would think it might be early 2026, maybe like January, Feb next year, because there's still a lot of things they have to go through. It basically has to start again. So they have to go through some of those pretrial hearings. They have to gather evidence. So evidence has to be heard before the court. Then they have to go through those hearings again, because this is like a fresh charge. So it's a new charge and it's a new indictment. So they have to go through that process, not all the way, but most of it again. So the chance of getting into a trial, unless he decides to fast track it and we get to go before the end of the year, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, I've been trying to get documents and stuff on this, but every time I try and apply for something through the Supreme Court, I just don't hear anything. It's really odd. I don't know what's going on in the background with this particular case. Like, normally with cases, I get a lot of access, I get a lot of documents, I get a lot of this. In this particular case, it's just like I get nothing. I've asked for, certain different, I don't want to say exactly what it is, but I've asked for different things and get nothing. Can't get anything. And it's I don't know what's going on with that. Normally with the Supreme Court, I've got pretty good access and I can get, transcripts and different documents that I need to do my job. But with Isla's case, it has been a struggle to try and get access to information since November of last year. It's been a real struggle, and that's very frustrating. Sean said, "Was that a ruse?" I don't know. Chipmunk said he should have at least corpse charges. It's so frustrating. Actually, that's a good point. I don't know why they didn't charge with like something like desecration. Here, let me have a look. Victoria desecration. What is that charge called here? Because I don't think I've heard of it in the Supreme Court. Hold on. Okay. So, interesting. So here in Victoria, the laws about involving human remains, the laws governing improper conduct with a deceased body fall under three distinct categories. Interfere with the corpse of a human being, I think that would have to be the one. Covers intentional and improper physical interactions, including committing an indecent act with a corpse or executing an unlawful removal of a body part. I mean, I guess. See, it seems like there's no charge like in the US. In the US, you often have that. There's different ways of saying it, but basically, like indecent. Uh, what we said. I can't remember. I'm having a mental blank, but the interfering with a corpse, basically. But it doesn't seem like. Yeah, I'm trying to see like what would it require. So it falls under Section 34B of the Crimes Act of 1958 in Victoria. It criminalizes certain forms of improper conduct involving the body of a deceased person. The elements of the act are interference in an indecent act or the removal of body parts involving a human corpse. Nature of conduct, intentional acts involving the body of a deceased person. Jurisdiction is normally the magistrate or the county court. Maybe it's possible that he does have that charge and it is at a lower level. I mean, I would have to go to the court and ask, but I don't know. But it is possible that he has other charges, but they're at a lower level. So we're talking about the Supreme Court at the moment, with the charges that we just talked about. But he came from a lower court earlier. It may be that there are other charges there. But what would you get? Like, what would you get as a sentence? The maximum penalty for interfere with the corpse of a human being under Section 34B of the Crimes Act 1958 is a level 6 imprisonment, which is 5 years in jail. There you go. They're saying this is a rare offense that is not often charged. However, if you are found guilty, you may receive a prison sentence. There you go. I it's interesting. It says here it more focuses on something like damaging. I mean, they did damage her body, but more like removal. Like, so if you dismembered someone and then put them, in, somewhere, or you had some sort of sexual contact with a dead person. It seems like that law more focuses on those two scenarios rather than committing an indecent act, interfering. interfering is a strange way. I mean, it's the normal way they would say it in a court, but it's got a wide meaning of what actually interfering means. Does that mean that you just moved it, touched it? Did you damage it? What about putting it in a fridge? Is putting her in a fridge, is that considered interfering with a human corpse? It's interfere with the human corpse of a human being. I'm trying to see if we can go to actually the law itself, because there's legal pages that here we go, I found it. There are pages that we can go to. Here, what does it say? Crimes Act 1900. No, we want the Section 48. No, we want Vic, not the ACT. Victoria. Because the laws from state to state are different. Here, can I find the actual... Yeah, Schedule 8. Here we go. Forensic sample offenses. Yeah, here I'll bring you to this page. Here's the Act, 1958. I'm just trying to look through it. Assault, nope. Nope. Let's have a look. Indecent. Forcible abduction of women. Interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. Offense maximum penalty. What section did they say it was? Section 34B. 34. What section are we up to? It'd be down here, I think. 34B. Assault with intent to rob. Nope. Setting fire with a house in it. Nope. We must be further up. 46. 43. 58, Schedule 8. No, we don't want Schedule 8. Crimes Act 58. Yep, here. 38. Yeah, see, look. Removal, offense, offensive conduct involving human remains. Okay, I think it's 34BB. Because these ones, see, 34B is sexual activity with the corpse of a human being. And then 34BA is removal of body parts from the corpse of a human being. Okay, it'd have to be 34BB. 34BB, okay. Offensive conduct involving human remains. And it says, if a person commits an offense, if intentionally engaged in conducts involving human remains, if the conduct is offensive, the person who commits an offense against subsection 1 is liable to level 7 imprisonment, 2 years maximum. An offense against subsection 1 is a summary offense. For the purpose of the subsection 1, conduct is offensive if, in all the circumstances, it is likely to arouse significant anger, resentment, outrage, disgust, repulsion in the minds of reasonable people. I think it would. I think what happened to Isla would incite this type of like reaction from the public or a normal person. So it may be possible that this charge is charged in a lower court. I will find out through the court system, and I'll find out what court he came from. I can't remember if it was magistrate or county. And I will go to the court, county court. I will go to the court and I'll ask, and I'll see if there are any charges at the lower level. I just can't remember if he does or not, because normally if they'll split them. So when the murder charge goes up to the higher court, the Supreme Court will know if there are other charges at a lower level, but they just don't deal with them. They just deal with the ones that come up to them, like murder, manslaughter, etc. Some of these other ones are just dealt with in the lower court, so he would have a hearing at another time to deal with this type of thing. Oftentimes they are suspended until the Supreme Court is done with the higher charges. So oftentimes they just wait until the higher act is done. Marylander says that's nothing. Yeah, I know. But the other charge is not that much different. Sean said, charged with perverting the course of justice. Yeah, that's what he's charged with in the Supreme Court, yes. But I'm just saying, like, people are asking how come, with what is alleged to have happened to her after death, how come there is no interfere with the corpse of a human being type charge? Which, because that's half the case. Half the case is not what happened in that apartment that night. The other half of it is what happened to her body once they put it into a fridge and then took it around, Caulfield and all in the inner South and just started moving it around. When people started going, why does that fridge smell really bad? And then they kept moving it. So I would think it would fall under this kind of offense. But yeah, they're saying here between, it depends what level they sentence at, but apparently it's between a level 7 and a level 6. So between 2 to 5 years you could get for that particular charge, between 2 to 5 years. So I've not heard of the horse. A horse? Of course. So yeah, there's your update with that. You can't see the word red room. Sean, we showed you that last time. Here, perverting. There was a thing here, if I can get it up onto the screen. We showed you last time. I'm not going to go through it again. That's not it. Here, give me 1 second. I'll find it. I have it on my hard drive. If I can. Where is it? Nope, that must be here. Resident. What's this? Nope, that's not it. That's a charging document for someone else. This one? Yeah, here we go. So, under the Crimes Act 1958, same section of legislation, and we showed you this before, like it just shows you the different charges between I think it's 5 years. 5 years. So it's a 5-year range up until the 30th of June 2024. So it must be from like 2019 to 2024. It shows you the different ranges for the charge that Ganiev is charged with. I never pronounce his name right. Apparently it doesn't work in my brain, which I'm sorry about. So here you can see the percentaging range here. And they say this graph only includes imprisonment that was not part of an aggregate sentence. So that's what this would be. If this is proven in a court of law and there was a sentence applied to it, it would be part of a non-aggregate imprisonment because it's the only charge that he's got right now. So yeah, as you can see, the median range here is like around 1 year in jail. There are a few that go between that 1 and 2 years, and then as we get to 3 and 4 years, it just trickles off. And once we get to 5 years, only 0.8% of all cases in a 5-year period ever were sentenced between 4 and 5 years. Over that, there's nothing. So I heard a lot of like TikTokers and people like that saying he could get life in jail for this, or like what's the maximum? I think the maximum is 25 years. No, most likely not. The sentencing wouldn't allow it, and they would have to take in other factors in relation to his case, being that I think this is the first time at the Supreme Court that he would get some sort of discount, most likely. Trying to see something like a 20-year jail sentence on this particular charge, probably not going to happen, which is a shame. Sometimes we like to think in true crime, sometimes these other charges might be like a surrogate for a manslaughter or a murder charge, but in the real world, it just doesn't work that way. they have to sentence around the guidelines. How many times is he a repeat offender? What kind of conduct? What, there's multiple things that go into a sentencing arrangement. So yeah, I'm not going to go through this again. We did it in a previous video, but it just shows you the different different things. What's up with my microphone today? Jeez. Hey, yeah, what are these? Hey, thank you for the jewels. I appreciate it. I don't know what they are. YouTube emailed me like a couple of days ago and they're like, "Do you want to turn on jewels?" And I was like, "What the hell are jewels?" I was like, "I don't even know what they are, but thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know what they do, but it's very kind." I don't yeah, I don't know what they do. Yeah, let's keep it up on the screen. Marlene said, "He's going to walk away with a gift card and leave the country." Look, possibly. Gold coin. Hey, Jules, thank you. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate it. You guys are very sweet. Gayla said, "I don't know." No, I don't know either. I just turned it on. I'm not sure what they do. You guys are gonna have to tell me. I know they're a new thing from YouTube. Something about it helps the channel. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are very kind. Thank you for giving me the jewels. I don't know what they do. We'll find out. We'll find out what they do and then we'll go from there. But yeah, so yesterday in the Supreme Court, we had nothing happen with Gregory Lynn. I can't give you an update about it because we never had the court date. We basically got told it was going to come back later, and then we got told it wasn't happening for the rest of the day. So I can't give you an update about Gregory Lynn at this point in time. We're supposed to go back on a later day, so I will go to court when we get told when we're supposed to go back. This particular case, I hear it's coming back sometime in August, about a month away. So I will go. I have a feeling I'm going to have to go in and sit in the courtroom for this one, which is a bit annoying. I don't like always sitting in the courtroom. Ping likes to sit with the media because I'm a big chicken and I'm always scared I'm going to do something wrong, like type too loud in the courtroom, and then the justice is going to yell at me. I'm telling you, at the Aaron Patterson trial, the justice yelled at the media. Well, not yelled, but he was very stern because the bar table were complaining to him, saying that they could hear the media typing behind them, like all the tip tap of the keys. And he's like, "You guys have to be quiet. Stop typing so loud. It's pissing off the bar." So I'm always very, aware of that because that was like my first time in a courtroom. And I'm always like, that stays with me now that I don't want to sit so close to the bar anymore because I don't want to be the person that the justice yells at, saying that you're typing too loud or something like that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to get yelled at. Kathy said, "Everyone send a free one." Yeah, thank you. It's very kind. Sweetness said, "I can angel, but I had some accumulated already and I don't know why." You can, okay. Missy said, "You accumulate them. I don't know how, and you can send them and they add up to money." They add up to money. It's like magic. That's all I know. You can buy them to send them. Why does YouTube diversify the income like that? Like we already have super chats and things like that. The super thanks. Why do we now need jewels on top of it? I don't get it. We already have like a function for things like that. Like I don't get it. It's just more ways, I guess. You're broke, you have no more jewels? Here, I can refund them for you if you want me to. Can we refund them from the live thing? I can't, but I can if you want me to. I would happily do that. All right, let's continue. So that's it for Isla Bell, guys. Like you heard what happened yesterday. It is good news that that stay application was not approved. It would have been a very rare legal move had it been approved. I think most people were thinking it wasn't going to be a positive outcome for him. They are only given in like extraordinary circumstances in some sort of court case. Like it has to show that it has been so negative or something just so negative, like it has to be like unfair to them to the point where the court process has started to um basically become an injustice to the accused. And most of the time that's how they use it. Or if there has been some sort of legal fault. So there's been some like extraordinary legal fault in the proceedings where they cannot move forward, because if they did, it would basically amount to this person being charged and tried on something that's legally impossible. And that's normally where they use that staying of proceedings on a permanent basis. You wouldn't normally use it in this type of thing. So what he was saying is that when the manslaughter charges were dropped earlier this year on the eve of the trial, he's saying, like, his argument and his legal team's argument was that by the prosecution filing this new indictment on that on the attempting to pervert the course of justice charge, that this is some sort of injustice to him and that it deserves to be having a stay of proceedings. But Justice Elliott was like, they have every right to sort of readjust their charging and then go back and look at it. And if it doesn't seem right, they have every right to file a new charge and then continue on. So they did not, uh, he did not succeed in that stay application. So it is good news. And the court case continues. I will bring you more when I know more about it. So that's it. SB1 said, I don't get the jewels either. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll end up being a good thing. So we'll wait and see. Okay. I have more information about David, because who doesn't love to talk about David? I mean, I feel like that is the number one topic on this channel at the moment. Is everyone wants to talk about these preliminary hearings in LA and what more information has come out. Well, not a ton of new information. I think the first couple of days were sort of like the fireworks, but we did hear this. I don't know if you heard this, but singer David, yeah, hold on. So the big news today is that there was a pregnancy of Celeste. So I think we guessed this was coming. We heard about the Plan B and the condoms and the abortion and stuff. We heard about that a while ago, but we didn't have a lot of context of like what that meant. We heard there were text messages, but we didn't know too much more. Well, today in court, it says singer David had impregnated the teenager he's accused of fatally stabbing. According to evidence presented in the LA courtroom on Friday, Celeste later received an abortion. Text messages between the two indicated as such. So, according to the text message from Celeste, she said, neither of us are capable of watching and taking care of the baby. It's for the best, question mark. So she was like, basically, we're so immature and not, reliable enough that we shouldn't be raising a child. She is a baby herself. She was 13 at the time of this, having to make very adult decisions like in her life. Imagine that at 13. I mean, I'm sure it's happened a lot over human history, but they're saying here, yeah, prosecutors said here that the abortion appeared to weigh heavily on Celeste, saying, I care about you. I killed my kid for you. And then he replied, I don't like talking about it because it gets me upset. But I do. Wait, text. Oh, no, this is all her. She said, I care about you. I killed my kid for you. I don't like talking about it because it gets me really upset, but I'd do anything to have it back. I would think her parents being in the courtroom on Friday, I think that would have been devastating to hear, devastating for them. And they're saying here, Rivas Hernandez's parents left the courtroom on Friday as Corey Fell, a LAPD detective, discussed explicit photographs of the pair that they took of each other naked. So we also have photographic evidence of this sexual contact between both of them. Brutal. I'm gonna see if we have any more sketches because I love when we get these sketches out of the LA courtroom. Let me see if I have any. Actually, I'm gonna send you to KTLA so I can have a drink, and then I'll find them.
Long preliminary hearing in singer David's murder case is nearing an end.
Prosecutors have been revealing graphic new evidence in the killing of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. KTLA's Kareen Winter is live at the courthouse in downtown LA with an update. Hi, Kareen.
Hi there. And yes, today we heard from an LAPD detective who reviewed dozens of explicit photos that were retrieved from David's cell phone. Photos that detective said, showed explicit photos of the couple having sex, engaged in sexual intercourse. But it wasn't just that. That detective also alluded to text messages between the two of them, David and Celeste, that talked about a pregnancy, an abortion when Celeste was about 13 years old. The couple even discussed moving in together. Here's more on today's proceedings. Horrific details shocked this veteran LAPD detective.
This is not a movie we're watching. This is not something that we're just another case, another number. This is a real life experience that Celeste went through.
Moses Castillo, who's now retired from the department and works as a private investigator, is not tied to this high-profile case, but he did sit in on today's graphic testimony by LA County Medical Examiner Dr. Grant Ho. Dr. Ho detailed Celeste Rivas Hernandez's cause and manner of death. Defendant, singer David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, looked on as Dr. Ho discussed the teen's dismembered and severely decomposed body. He said she had been dead for weeks, possibly months.
One of the things that was shocking to me, that was brand new, there was an injury that he was trying to describe to the prosecutor, and he said he couldn't say for sure what caused that injury to her part of the body, but it said it could have been a gunshot.
Dr. Ho testified that there were tiny blue fragments of material, specifically around the dismembered areas, that the prosecution has tried to link to fragments that possibly came off from a plastic inflatable pool found in David's garage. Dr. Ho said the weapon or tool used to cut the body may have been some type of power saw.
The penetration of one of the stabbings went as far as 2 inches in length and 1.5 inches in depth. That tells me that it was a very powerful movement towards that body, and it was from front to back.
The defense, during its cross-examination of Dr. Ho, worked to cast doubt on the medical examiner's testimony regarding their defendant's possible involvement. The defense questioned the autopsy process and its findings, saying it should not be considered conclusive given Hernandez's extreme state of decomposition. David's attorney also said Dr. Ho worked alongside a trainee with little experience and suggested Dr. Ho couldn't rule out the possibility Hernandez may have been holding an instrument that caused some of the deep penetrating wounds and internal injuries to her chest and stomach.
That is very interesting. We're going to find out a lot more once we get this decision. I think it'll go to trial. The courts in America often want like I said before, a jury to decide. They don't like leaving it in the hands of a judge, and they'd prefer that a jury, more often than not, gets to hear the evidence, and they're the ones who get to make the final decision, which happens in most courts, like in Victoria and some other places around the world. But what was pink? What? One was pink. What in the hell? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it is, right? Hey, Astro, how are you? Yeah, I believe that's probably most likely true. I mean, you think about this girl, very young. I would think in some ways very naive, is playing very adult games. Look, as far as we're concerned, I would consider it grooming, right? I would think it would be grooming. Sweet Universe said he sure didn't have any respect for her body. Nope. Yeah, chainsaw. I mean, you hear that evidence of like the plastic in there. Oh yeah, we saw. We had it the other night. We showed you some examples of the different sizes of those chainsaws. Like they went from a miniature handheld type one, which are those small ones with a battery on the bottom, all the way up to like a full size, one that could chop down a tree. So he had like every size like of chainsaw that you could get, a handheld, a big one, a medium one. He had all of them. And we showed you an example of a pink one the other night. Here. Pink. I'll show it again. I showed it 2 nights ago. I believe it's probably something like this. I'll show you a photo. These are really common. They're on like Amazon and something like that. This was the exact length of that pink one. So I believe it was a handheld type one like this, and then he had other ones which were bigger. So yeah, you can get them in pink apparently. If you're someone who likes pink and you want to do that with your outdoor equipment or cutting up a body, you can get them on Amazon. Kim said, I can't get over him being so young. Well, yeah, I believe she was failed by everyone. And I know a lot of people have sort of like changed their tune on the parents. I haven't. I believe that they have a responsibility here. They didn't kill their daughter, but their sort of neglect of Celeste, I believe, led to her in some ways being in the vulnerable position that she ended up in. I'm not saying they caused her death at all. I'm just saying that, yeah, that there's multiple people here that failed that girl over her very short life. I that's what I think anyway. Yeah, also, Astro said they left the court during sex photos and videos, but didn't leave the court during her autopsy photos. No, but they looked down for the autopsy. Like the prosecutor came over and told them, don't look up, just look at your feet. And they didn't want to view it. So they didn't view the autopsy photos, but maybe they thought this was a better way of dealing with it. Gail said, I would use it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy a pink one. I've got one that's exactly like this, but it's a black one. Sweet said, now I live in a security apartment. I no longer need a chainsaw. Why would you have a chainsaw in a normal apartment? Are you afraid like someone's coming through your door and you have to defend yourself in the middle of the night? I'm confused how a security apartment negates your need for a chainsaw. I'm sort of confused by that. Parents are still culpable. I believe so. Now, I don't want people to confuse my words and think I said they killed their daughter. I don't think that's true. But I just think that more could have been done to protect their own daughter. That's where we have to go with some of this sometimes. You can't. It's a fine line because you got to be careful, because if you go too far over and start blaming the parents for everything, you're basically saying that every runaway child in the nation is the parents' fault, which we know that's not true. But I just think there were opportunities there to help Celeste in her very young life that weren't taken by the family. And that may have led later on to her being very vulnerable and seeking, who knows, from David. So very sad. Is the Lorena Bobbitt model? Is that the woman that gave a hand job to that guy in the movie cinema? Is that same politician? There was a politician, right? Is that same lady? And she was giving a hand job to the guy in the cinema? What's her name? Let's have a look. Lorena. Is that the same? No. I thought this was her. You notice that politician woman? What's her name? I can't remember what her name is. Okay. It's not the same woman. For some reason, that name triggered that memory. You guys remember seeing that video? She's supposed to have had a husband or something, and then she's off with this guy in the cinema. Ah. Okay, I don't know that case. Ah, Lauren Bobbert. Okay. Alright. That's where the confusion is. Ah, she cut off her husband's pineapple. Okay. Interesting. I don't know that case. I'm having a look here. Lauren Gallo? Is that Lorena Gallo? An American former couples whose marriage received international press in 1993 when Lorena severed John's pineapple with a kitchen knife while he was in bed. There's been multiple of these. I know just in the last, I don't know, 5 years or so, there's been multiple that this has happened to men, which is horrific. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's just awful. They're saying here Lorena, who had immigrated to the US from Venezuela, alleged that John, a bar bouncer and a former US Marine who she married in 1989, had R-worded and abused her for years. John was later charged with the R-word later in 1993 but was acquitted and subsequently starred in 2 adult films. The next year, Lorena was acquitted of assault by reason of insanity and went on to start a foundation for DV victims and their children. The couple divorced in 1995. They're saying that they did reattach his appendage, and it was why would he then go and star in 2 adult films after you just had your Johnson cut off? Like, are you some sort of like freak show where you're like, hey, here, let me show off my surgically reattached appendage. Hey, let me show you on an adult film. I think that's gruesome. I think that's gruesome. Appendage. That's right. Missy said, I think she should have fed it to him. Ugh. There was a woman not long ago who cut off her husband's appendage and then put it in the garbage disposal so it could not be reattached. So the guy could not have his member reattached to his body because it got torn up in the garbage, like in the sink disposal. So he basically lives now as I don't know how he lives, probably with some sort of surgical problem. Sweeney said, yep, she was I haven't seen a photo of her. Uncle Alert. Hey Diane, how are you? Uncle Alert. I like her style. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I don't know what the jewels do. We'll find out, but thank you, Diane Marie. I appreciate it. It's very kind. She did 400. I don't know how many 400 jewels is, but she did 400. I'm on rewind. Hey, my friend. Good to see you. So yeah, so it's happened before with these things. They're saying here that it was like an 8-inch knife. Yeah, 20-centimeter carving knife. Whoa. Apparently she grabbed an 8-inch knife, a Ginsu carving knife on the kitchen counter, returned to the bedroom, pulled back the bed sheets, and cut it off. Oh my god. My man parts hurt already. Ow. I better be nice to Mrs. Ping for the rest of her life, hey? She'll get too many ideas. 300 is £3.69. Wow. Diane, thank you. That is very nice. Very, very generous. I appreciate it. Kathy said, can a man on life support donate his? Do they do that? I don't think that's a thing they do, is it? I know they do like hearts and, brain. Do they do brains? No, they don't do brains. Yeah, I'm going in today for my brain transplant. I don't know. I don't think they do, right? I've never heard of someone getting like a pineapple transplant from a dead person. I don't think that's a real thing. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know. Oh, well, this might be something we have to look up. Gayla said, "I'm gonna talk to Mrs. P and get her to walk around the house with scissors." No, she's sleeping right now, so you can't talk to her about nothing because she's snoring right now because on the weekend she basically during the week she doesn't get a lot of rest because she's very busy, and then she uses her Saturday and Sunday to basically catch up on 5 days worth of sleeping because she gets up really early. She gets up at like 4:30 in the morning every morning. SP1 said skin is a transplant organ, but not. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds like a Frankenstein. Gail said, I hope she's okay. She's doing all right. She has her surgery booked for her upcoming, hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be her last surgery. And I'm hoping this is going to be the final one. That this will be the final surgery that she needs to get back to her normal life. And let's hope that this goes well and we can end this, what is it, like 3-year nightmare. It's been 3 years of surgeries and being in hospital and appointments with surgeons and doctors and all sorts of things. So I'm hoping this time she's not going to be in hospital for 2 months. I cannot believe she was in hospital for that long. So hopefully this time it's quick and she's out of hospital in a week or two. They're still saying it's going to be a week or two. That yeah, it's going to be like a couple of weeks in hospital. Gail said, I know ones that don't work can get something that inflates inside them so they can be used, then deflated after. What? I've never heard of this. What? They have like a penis inflatable pump that when they're ready to have with their lady or whoever, maybe a man, they hit a switch and it goes. Brrrt. Are you reading some sort of crazy fan fiction? Please don't write one about me, but what? You watched a surgery? Are you sure? Jill said, I was in hospital for 19 days in a 30-day period. It's awful. I'm sorry you had to go through that. She was in there solid for what was it, like 10 weeks or something? Almost through the entire Aaron Patterson trial. She was in hospital. But so I get it. I know what it's like. It's horrible. Yeah, that's not a real thing, is it? You've heard it? I don't know if I want to Google it. I don't know if I want my Google tainted with this type of information. Like, I think Google already thinks I'm pretty mental because of the things that I type. I'm all like, I need the autopsy for this dead woman in California, please. And I need the PDF file. Like, it already thinks I'm a mass murderer or something. I'm just not sure if I want to. There's hope for us yet, Ping. That's right. That's right. Soon we will be complete. Jules said, I thought they were going to kill me. Well, I'm glad you're here now. Missy said, because he had his thing cut off, he had a huge one put on. What? That's not true, is it? He had a huge one put on so he could make. Oh, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I don't know if I want to research that. I don't want that on my Google thing. Mama Mia said, I was in hospital for a month and a half for an overnight surgery. Everything went wrong. That's her. The same thing. We were told she was going to be in there for a week. Like they're like pack enough clothes for 1 week, and then everything went wrong. Just nothing went right. She copped everything under the sun, like multiple infections, multiple blood clots, multiple this. Her surgery failed. She had so many different things go wrong. and it took so long to get her back on a good road. And then eventually, when they did and everything sort of calmed down, she started progressing really fast. It's crazy to see how quick the human body progresses once it gets to a good place. Like she looked like a 90-year-old woman when she was very ill. She looked like a 90-year-old lady. And when she got onto like to back to being healthy, she went from that to being, walking around and eating and stuff all within like a week. And she was starting to like hit those milestones like really fast. It's crazy. It's really crazy how fast humans can get better. Serena sort of haping in hospital. I think she ran the hospital by the end. By the end, she was like walking around, ordering things, going to the fridge and getting her own food. You know what was funny? I don't know if she wants me to tell you this story, but I'll tell it to you. So in the hospital, they had like a little like cafe room for patients, but also for visitors. So you didn't have to go down to the bottom floor and buy a coffee or whatever. They have a little bar fridge in there. She had accumulated so much food in that fridge that no one else could put anything in the fridge. She'd had all these little hidey holes of ice cream and biscuits and like milk and all this stuff, to the point where like the nurses had to be like, "Can you throw out some of the stuff you're not going to eat because there's so much in there?" But it's because she hadn't eaten anything in like um like over a year. So like for over a year, she couldn't eat very much. So after the surgery, and then she could start eating properly again, she wanted to eat everything. I mean, I could imagine that's how everyone would feel. But yeah, she filled up the little bar fridge that's supposed to be for everyone. And the nurses were like, "Ah, Mrs. Ping's doing it again. She's filling up the bar fridge." So we'd have to go in and cull the bar fridge so that other people could use it. Um, Srinivas said she comes out as a hospital administrator. Yeah, she was basically ordering stuff by the end. It was pretty funny. But she was very ill at the start. Um, yeah, I've never seen her so ill. She was so sick. Um, when you walk into a hospital room and you see your loved one connected to multiple machines, multiple, like, those things that beep and have the tubes and all that. She had 2 of them, and they were all full because they were pumping so much crap into her to keep her alive. Like, she had 2 of those hooked up to her, and they were full. So they had, like, how each one has, like, a different medication? She had 2 of them, I think, yeah, they were both full. So she was getting 8 different types of medication from 2 different, pole things while she was very ill. So, yeah, it's crazy. It was so hard to see her that ill. So hopefully this surgery is going to go well. Fingers crossed. She's a lot healthier now. And hopefully, because she is healthy, she won't be it won't go bad. We think why the first surgery was very hard is because she was so ill. And when you're that ill, your body can't fight very well. And we're hoping now that she's a lot better, that this surgery will go a lot better. So yeah, she's got her new surgery booked in. And yeah, the fact that she made it is amazing, really. She could have died several times. Like, there were several points where the doctors were like, "It's out of our hands." The doctors are like, "We've done everything we can do. It's up to her." And, like, that's what they told us. They said, "We've done medically everything we can do. If she makes it through the next, 72 hours, she will live." That's what they told us in the hospital. They're like, "If anything happens in the next 72 hours, she'll probably die." That's how serious it was, at the time. Yeah, it was really hard, and I had to cover the world's largest Victorian, trial at the time. It was really hard. I don't ever wanna go back to do it. Do you know what's sad? Um, Her surgery could be booked during the Samantha Murphy trial. I think they're going to coincide. So I don't know why the gods of the law and the court hate me and keep keep having trials when she's in hospital, but it just seems to work out that way. So yeah, I think she is actually going to be in hospital while we're in Ballarat. So that's annoying, but is what it is. All right. No more reminiscing. No more reminiscing. Let's go back to David. Let's go back to David. So what else did we find out today? I think we found out a little bit more. Here, I'm just going to try grab a different reporting on it because there was something else that came out in the court today that I thought we could. Yeah, this one. The musician, whose name is David Anthony Burke, apologized to Celeste in January of 2024 for putting her through this in a text message from his phone. So you even have some admittance to what happened to Celeste from him, which I think is pretty brutal. The way they're sort of titling this is not correct. They're saying here, teen whose singer David is accused of killing was pregnant, had abortion year before death. Yeah, not. I think they're trying to play on the whole. A lot of people thought she was pregnant at the time of her death, but we found out that she was not. They're saying here, prosecutors spent. Geez, my voice. Prosecutors spent Friday afternoon detailing the nature of the relationship between Burke and Celeste. Photos of the two of them kissing and laying in bed were shown to the court. The court pictures showed that she had a David tattoo on her finger in red ink, one of the two that had been cut off her body when found. So obvious, like they're like, who might have killed this girl? Oh, the finger that's missing that had the tattoo of the guy that she was seeing? Yeah, not suspicious at all. The LAPD detective Corey Farrell described one by one more than 3 dozen photos of the two of them that could not be shown in court because they depicted explicit sexual abuse. There you go. They're saying here that Celeste's mother began crying and her father looked down as detectives began describing the photos. The images were recovered from Burke's iPhone that was seized during a search of his home. The text message conversations were taken from his iCloud account, often discussed contraception and pregnancy. And in early January 2024, they discussed the A word. In a text conversation, months later, she regretted that she took a innocent life of a literal baby. She asked Burke if anyone knows they had sex, and he replied, "Nope, and I want to keep it that way until we marry." So he's trying to say to her that they're gonna be married one day and have this family. It's very typical grooming behavior to paint a future for the victim and be like, you're a part of it. You're a part of it. Like, this is us. We're together. And that's what he is doing there. They're saying in one text message in November 2024, she says, I literally had sex with you for almost a year straight. He tells her she's acting like it's their first breakup when it's their eighth. The detective returns to the stand on Monday for the likely final day of the preliminary hearing. That'll be very interesting if we hear any more about these text messages about what they were going on. But you hear that one, that November, so November 2024. And then she says, I literally had sex with you for almost a year straight. A year straight. That is quite damning evidence. Oh, wait, that's on the screen? Sorry, guys. Let me get you some of these court sketches because they're so good. By the way, we're changing our setup here. It's going to be different where the camera is going to be positioned in a better place. We're going to rip all this down in the next couple of months and we're going to make a new studio area, possibly with a couch, possibly where I sit on a couch and I'll read you stuff in front of the camera. Possibly. We're looking at that as an option. All right, let me go here. I want to see the court sketches from today because they're so good. Let's see. Let me see if we can get to the LA Times. Do they have any new sketches for us today? No sketches today. I don't know what. I'm sure there is. We saw them in the video, but I can't see them here. All right. They're saying here, LAPD detective testified Friday that a phone belonging to the singer David contained photos of the singer in a compromising position with Celeste. Yep, we already heard that. And God, that's how is that possible? So they're saying here that the cell phone showed that the singer impregnated a teenage girl and convinced her to have an A word when she was just 13. How can you be a 13-year-old and go to one of those clinics? Don't you need like a parental signature or someone with you? Like, I wouldn't think a 13-year-old girl can go on her own, can they? In LA? I wonder. Hold on. I don't know if I want to Google that, but is that possible at 13? Or would some other adult, possibly Burke, would they have had to have gone with her? Like, I wonder how that works because I would have thought anything medical for a girl under the age of, I don't know, 15 or something would have to have a guardian with her. They're saying here, according to the district attorney, Beth Silverman displayed hundreds of pictures and texts that show Burke and Hernandez discussing sexual interactions, fear of pregnancy, and ultimately that A word that took place in January of 2024. The messages on the phone spanned from November 2023 to March 2025. There were nearly 50 photographs that depicted either Celeste naked or the pair engaged in sexual acts. Wow, that is a hell of a thing for them to find if you're trying to hide your, illicit relationship with a underage girl. So what do? You go and take photos of her and you doing the things that are illegal. I swear, these people are not very clever, are they? All right, I'm going to try. I really want to see these new things today. Let's see. Can we get any sketches? I love seeing them every day. We don't seem to have them today. Yeah, I'm going to take you back to the video we had because they had them. Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, let's take that off. So we got that one. So is that David? And then that's the autopsy photo here. That's what that looks like. That looks like her on a medical examiner tray. Brutal. And he had to witness it. And then we see a medical examiner describing the different parts of her. Whoever's doing these sketches, can I just say that they have done a great job? That their sketches have been informative, but not gratuitous. Like they're not overly graphic for the sake of shock and awe or something like that. They're done in such a great way where they're just very informative, but they're not gross or gruesome or something like that. And especially when you're detailing things like this, like a medical examiner report, where you have these sort of like naked female that's underage, that's on a medical examiner's table. You can see here where the dismemberment in her legs happened, and the arms as well, and then the legs and feet on one side of the leg, and then detailing these injuries to her hands as well. So they're great. Whoever did these, I wish I had a name. Oh, there is a name. Finally, I've been looking for a name for ages. Mona S. Edwards. I don't know who Mona S. Edwards is, but she did a great job. Her sketches are brilliant. I think they've been amazing. Did they ever give the yeah, it's up on the screen. I would love to try and find more of her work because they're really well done. Some of the best I've seen. And then look, we even see these ones. So you see a medical examiner, and this must be her. I'm guessing that's the torso, and then you see the internal organs and the spine, I would think. That's what that looks like to me. And then right knee, an injury maybe, or the dismemberment, and then something else here I can't make out what it is, but yeah, God, they're brilliant. That court artist is a very talented person. Yeah, there's that autopsy photo. Let's hope those photos never make it out into the wild. I don't think they would, right? Because she would be underage. So at the time of her death, she would be considered, yeah, underage. She is a dead person, but she is also naked in these photos, even after death. And you see here, like they put like a little sensor box over her female region to keep some, you know, some privacy for her. So yeah, no, but other than that, they're really well done. There's a typical medical examiner diagram that we all know. So they use these and fill them in. Yeah, thank you, Kathy. What is this? This is the artist. Thank you. Mona Schaefer Edwards is a freelance illustrator specializing in fashion and courtroom illustration. She's brilliant. I think she's amazing. Here, I'll put a photo up of her. Yeah, here's a photo of her. She is brilliant. I love her court sketching. I'll have to look up some other ones that she's done. There's a photo. She does great work. Yeah, very unique for courtroom sketches. Yeah, I can see it here. Who is in the glasses? Is she a lesbian? Maybe you're a lesbian. No. Who's in the glasses? No, that's a medical examiner. That's a male. That's I think I don't want to guess, but either a Hispanic or Asian man, I think. I don't want to guess. Yeah, pretty lady. Yep, pretty lady. Yeah, let's see. What else has she done? So she shared them all to her Instagram, apparently. I'm just trying to see. So she's also done others. You know why? It says here that she has a background in fashion and that she used to do like fashion sketching for like making, clothes and things like that. So that is probably why her sketching has that look to it. Yeah. You can see it in the way that she sketches like clothing. She's so good at it. And you can see like that's where she provides that detail. And it sort of does look like those sketches when people are making clothes or, sketching out designs for fashion. That's what it looks like. Yeah. She's a very talented sketch artist. You guessed it was a man? All right. Good to see you. Yeah, no, she's brilliant. I don't know if so she worked on the Michael Jackson allegations in 2005 apparently too. So she was also doing that back in the day. Yeah. So there's some of her sketches from Michael's allegations back, what is it, 21 years ago now. So she's been doing this for a very, very long time in LA for almost 2 decades. Yeah, that photo was handcuffs. Yep. That girl is handcuffed behind her back. Yep, and that is a court that is a police officer or a court worker putting her probably into the courtroom or taking her out of a courtroom. I don't know who that is or what this is based off, but is obviously based off some sort of trial. Yeah, no, she's brilliant. I think we've seen her stuff before because this looks familiar. I can't remember what case this is, but I recognize the sketch. This sketch with the turtle suit and this guy, I remember. I remember we covered it at the time, but I can't remember what case it is. But I do remember her sketch of it. So Raina? Ah, there you go. That's probably it. Funny how I remember her sketch of it, but not who it is. Astro said he made Celeste a corn star. Yeah, a little bit, right? When you hear those details about what they got up to and what he was putting her through. And they're saying here prosecutors have alleged that basically their entire relationship was just for sexual motive and nothing else. They're saying here, according to text messages displayed in the court, the two also discussed a plan to move in together in February of 2024, which Hernandez dubbed Operation Awesome. All right. Celeste was reported missing to Riverside County authorities by her parents that same month. They're saying LA County sheriff's deputies visited Burke's home to question him about Celeste around the same time, but she wasn't there. When questioned by a deputy, Burke claimed he'd only met her once in person and didn't know she was under 18. I think he knew that every time. In January of 2024, Burke and Hernandez had exchanged about the 13-year-old possibly being pregnant with the child. Burke asked her, when you going to get it done, in reference to the medical appointment. She wrote back in 2 days. And then Burke said that his mother always told him to ask this question if he was ever in this situation, and he asked, "Is it mine?" Really? And then she replied, "Of course it's yours, David." Months later, Hernandez was expressing regret about what happened to her child. And she said that she took the innocent life of a literal baby. She is a baby as far as I'm concerned. She's a baby having a baby. And they're saying here, in another message, Burke expressed a desire to flee the country with Hernandez to get married in Italy, lamenting that they couldn't be together in the US without being harangued by police or missing person flyers. He said, "I just want no posters and you to be able to get on planes." Huh, but she did get on a plane, remember? We were told that she went to the UK with David. So I don't know why he's saying that there. I just want no posters, like missing person posters, and you to be able to get on planes. But she went to the UK with him. Very odd. Another string of texts showed the two planned to travel to Las Vegas together in August of 2024, where they discussed having sex inside the Trump Hotel. Before delving into the text messages and pictures, which were not displayed to the court because prosecutors said many of them constituted child material, a very emotional Silverman turned to her parents and pleaded with them to leave the courtroom, warning them it's too much. Eventually, they stood up and exited. So someone asked before, why did the parents leave the courtroom? It's because the prosecutor has been guiding them through the court. So when they're in the court each day, when something really traumatic is about to come up, that prosecutor comes to them and says, you should look down, you should leave. They are guiding them through this court proceeding. Yeah, it's brutal. Absolutely brutal. So another message after they broke up, Burke said to Celeste, You asked me if I wanted to have sex, man. I folded, he said after they argued about a physical interaction following their breakup in December of 2024. Burke went on to allege that Celeste initiated their first kiss and asked him to be her boyfriend. Burke and Hernandez got into an argument the night before prosecutors say she was killed, with the teen expressing frustration and jealousy over Burke's relationships with other women. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm just trying to see what it says here. So, a number of questions were asked, suggesting the possibility that Hernandez was holding the weapon that killed her. So, we've heard this before that David was going to say that she held the weapon and there was some sort of a struggle or that she did it to herself. That is what they're going to claim, I think. And then they said here the defense attorney asked a number of questions suggesting the possibility that Celeste was holding the weapon that killed her and that she injured herself or that the killing happened in the course of a struggle. And they said you can't rule that out, that she would have been holding the instrument that caused either of those wounds. And the medical examiner said he could not. He also noted that the autopsy did not uncover hesitation marks referring to lesser injuries caused in the process of committing that type of thing. This is true. This is one of the things you will often see. People who do it themselves won't just rush in and commit the major wound. They'll often because it hurts, right? It hurts to use a knife on yourself or something like that. Apparently they will often see little tiny indentations or cuts next to or near the major injury, which they call hesitation injuries, which are quite common in the case of self-harm or something like that. Jill said, did she get herself pregnant too? No, she didn't. He did. Astro said Celeste was already dating 20-year-old at 9 years old. Yeah, I did hear that there's some gang member that she was dating. Yeah, that was well known. Yeah, I don't think she got herself pregnant. I Hate Morning says he knew how old she was because he picked her up at school. An educator at the school talked about, yeah, we played that video. I don't know if we were the first people to have that video, but we were pretty close to the first people to play it on YouTube. And we had the teacher, and he's like in the classroom showing photos of David and the girl and bragging how he knew them. And oh, she used to go to this school and I was her teacher. What an absolute fuckhole that guy is. That guy can piss off. Like, he's a loser. The fact that you would try and brag to your students that you know of a murder victim, you absolute piece of trash. That guy is a trash bag. He's like talking to these students and he's trying to act so cool and he's like, "Oh, and they used to go here and I knew them and yeah, this famous guy and that girl was in my class." Like, shut up, man. Shut up. Yeah, he's a bellend. Yeah. Yeah, no, that is something that has been told. Astra said her parents totally let her date. I think there's a lot of blame to go around. A lot of blame. Yeah, that video is ridiculous. The fact that this guy would it, I don't understand why a teacher has that to be able to go to a classroom and talk with people's sons and daughters about a very serious topic, a girl being found in a freaking Tesla dead. And you think it's okay for this teacher to go to the class and start talking about how you know a murder victim. I think that oversteps a professional boundary. And if I was a parent of a kid at that school, I would have been absolutely furious. I would have gone there and kicked people's heads in. I would have been in the principal's office absolutely going mental if a teacher did that to my child. I would be nuclear hot. Gail said he had a photo of David. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Kathy said bell end. Kathy, think of what a bell end is. It's an English saying. It's a play on words. So if you think of what a bell end is and what the inside of a bell, the thing that makes the noise. So the thing inside the bell, it's called a bell end. What exactly does that sort of look like? And what it might reference on a human body? And there you go. Yeah, that's right. Bell end. Gus was 20. Yes, I know this. That gang leader. I know. The dongle. You got it now? Bell end. There you go. So now you know some English swear words. Now you know some English swear words. So if you ever hear that, it is part of like I don't know if it's part of the Cockney rhyming, but it's part of some sort of like in England, there's a lot of swear words that are they're sort of like rhyming words or words that have double entendres, like they're just like double meaning. And a lot of the English sort of swearing is like that. So you got to be very quick on your wit with some of the some of the British and UK and Irish and Scottish swearing. It's sort of they often have double meanings and stuff like that. Kathy said, "I learn something every time I come here." Pinky Blinders, that TV show. Yeah, it's used heaps. Yeah, bell end is like it's used every day by millions of people. So yeah. But yeah, it has like there's often like double meanings in that. So if you ever hear like UK swear words, try and think of like what that might be. And I can't think of another example right now, but there's heaps of them. There's just heaps of them. Yeah, so they often have what they call rhyming slang or like rhyming words and stuff. So you'll get used to it. It's a mild word. Yeah, there's worse. There's worse in the UK that I can think of. Wank is probably the big one that gets used a lot. I use it a lot, and I say it all the time. And a lot of people, especially Americans, don't really get what it is. But if you're Australian or British, it's well known. Astro said David took her from Gus. Yeah, I mean, I would think. Well, took is a strong word, but I would think that anytime you can see a child for access where you know you're into that thing like David, you're probably going to try find a way to get to that kid. I don't think it would have mattered whether it was Celeste or another child, in my opinion. I think he's just into that type of thing. So what else can we roll that out? Yeah, so the medical examiner said they couldn't identify any hesitation marks, and on Friday, Ho said he identified 2 stab wounds, one on her abdomen and that it struck the liver, and another on her left side of the chest that damaged her ribs. We heard about this earlier this year when that autopsy report came out, and it detailed a lot of these injuries. Now, I don't know if I have it on me. Let me see if I still have it. I do not. I don't have it on my hard drive anymore, but I'm sure I could find it if you wanted me to, but we've already gone through it several times. I don't think there's a need to keep going through it. They're saying here, what else? I think that's about it. I think that's really about all of it. So that's your update. We've got one more day to go on Monday, and then it'll go to judgment from the judge. Judge will decide, is there enough evidence here to commit David to stand trial? And then after that, we'll continue and we'll hopefully get to a trial date where we can all find out the rest of the information about what happened to Celeste on that night. Because there's obviously more evidence that we have not heard as of yet. I had another story that I wanted to talk to you about, and now I've got to try find it. It is not LeBron. It is not LeBron signing in Philadelphia. It is not that. I don't think it's that one. Hold on. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to find out if I can get. There was a story with an update that came out yesterday that I was hoping to do on the show, and then I may have closed my link accidentally while we've been doing the show tonight. It must be here. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll find it. 1 minute. All right. I'm back. So I have 2 stories we could do. Now I don't know which one you'd like to do, but there's one from Wisconsin about a missing boy called Bobby Joe. I don't know if you remember this story. This happened in 1983, and this little boy vanished while playing outside with his siblings. And apparently today in Fond du Lac County, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, they were trying to excavate a property, and they're trying to sift through 30,000 pounds of soil by hand to try and find out what happened to this little boy. And I think that is, here's a little photo of him. So he went missing in 1983. And they're saying here the circumstances was May 14th, 1983. He was playing outside with his siblings and disappeared in just a 2-hour window between 2:30 and 4:30. They're saying more than 4 decades later, the case remains an active investigation as authorities continue to follow leads. But so far, they've not been able to find him. Police say over the last year, they have interviewed people who had not been interviewed and searched the basement of the residence where the child lived at the time he went missing. They're saying here, investigators removed approximately 500 5-gallon buckets full of dirt by hand from the basement. They say this equated to a total weight of 30,000 pounds of soil that was then sifted by hand and searched. They're saying items of interest were collected for processing, but obviously no human remains were found. I think that's very sad. I would have liked to have seen a better update. Hopefully, like they found his body or something. So here, I'm going to try to take you out to Wisconsin if I can. Yeah, here. Nope, that's not it. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get you out to a local news agency. Yeah, here we go. Hopefully this will play. But they've got an age progression photo of him too, and we're gonna try to get that for you if I can. But yeah, look, you can see them working here. This is all that sifting that they are doing. 30,000 pounds trying to find this kid. I mean, that is, we sometimes say that authorities don't do enough, but it sounds like in this one they really are trying to get it done and trying to bring this kid home. Here, I'm going to take it out to Fox 6 in Milwaukee.
Years ago. And tonight, there is potential new evidence in the Fond du Lac County cold case.
Fox 6's Ashley Sears is here and explains investigators have been searching the boy's childhood home.
Yeah, that's right, Kim. 5-year-old Bobby Joe Fritz vanished while playing with siblings from outside of his home in Campbellsport in 1983. It is a case that baffled the community and one that investigators say they have never given up on.
There was just no trace of him anywhere.
For 43 years, this community has been searching for answers.
Everybody was looking for him, and nobody could find him.
Spencer Lavrens lives next door to where 5-year-old Bobby Joe Fritz disappeared in 1983.
At least 100 people were involved in the search.
At the time, the community combed the area, from the neighborhood to the nearby Milwaukee River. The boy was last seen playing outside with his siblings.
He had an airplane up yesterday, practically all day for the search.
Over the years, age progression photos were released, but never any leads. Now, decades later, there is new activity at the home. The Fond du Lac County Sheriff's Office says last week investigators conducted a search warrant there and found potential evidence. They were back Tuesday excavating the basement, sifting through.
You have to ask, like, what would be left of a child from 1983 if he's that young? Would there be any bones left, or would they only be fragments left after this long? I don't know if that's why they can't find a body as such, and that's why they're sifting through like all of the soil by hand. But you would think the fact that like they didn't go straight in looking for a body, they've gone in, with this sifting. What led them to doing that? I wonder. They're saying here, police remain hopeful the recent reconvened potential evidence or recently recovered potential evidence will help them advance the investigation. That's very weird. What exactly did you find in the basement? If it's not a body, what is it? Did they find clothing? Did they find things that the boy might have been wearing that day? That's what I'd like to know.
Buckets of soil behind the fire department.
Nobody knows what happened to that young man, that boy, and it just gets emotional.
Investigators are searching for any new clues that could help thaw this cold case as this community looks for some closure to a decades-old mystery.
I just hope they find a conclusion to it and everything comes to a positive end.
A positive end. I mean, from 1983, they've been trying to find this little boy. See, let me try and find out the circumstances. Like, what happened to his parents? Let's have a look. Bobby Joe Fritz. Let me see. Trying to find out, like, where are his parents? So he was last sighted between 2:30 and 4:30. He told his sister he was hungry and began walking back home alone. His sister watched him reach the end of their driveway, but he never made it inside. Odd. They're saying here, a massive local rescue effort combed the area, and divers heavily searched the nearby Milwaukee River and the Mill Pond. No trace of him was found, though his toy gun was recovered nearby. So are they saying that they think it might be an abduction? If it was an abduction, how come they are searching the family residence then? Do you know what I mean? Why would they search the basement of the home where he lived? See here. Authorities initially scrutinized his parents, but they were entirely ruled out and cleared of any involvement. Both his parents passed away without ever learning what happened to him. Okay. And then they say here, in 1984, a local sex offender became a primary suspect. A search of his property yielded children's clothing, small bones and news clippings of Bobby Joe's case. However, the bones could not be verified as human, and the suspect died in prison in 2008 without ever cooperating with investigators. Huh. Strange. So, yeah, they're saying here that they conducted a large-scale excavation of his former childhood home. Unless there's some connection between the family and this sex offender, then maybe the sex offender has nothing to do with it. Because how would he have gotten into the family home, into the basement to bury him or to bury evidence? It doesn't make any sense to me. No, they're saying that it was the childhood home. Yeah. Fritz lived at the Campbell Sport home when he vanished in 1983. Yeah, it's here. Investigators are conducting a large-scale basement excavation at a Fond du Lac home in connection with the 1983 disappearance of Robert Bobby Joe Fitz. They're saying Spencer Lorenz lived next door to where Fritz disappeared in 1983. At the time, the community combed the area, and the neighbor said there was just no trace of him anywhere. Everyone was looking for him, and nobody could find him. There you go. I don't know. Excavating the basement of a Campbell Sport home tied to the disappearance. Tied. See, the reporting details are very poor. Yeah, I'm going to look in connection. So is this the sex offender's home, or is this the home that he lived in? Because depending on how you read the reporting or listen to the video, yeah, who's... Yeah, investigators executed the search warrant at the former Fritz family home. They're saying it is the home that he lived at, not the sex offender that lived nearby. The home was rented or owned by Bobby Joe's mother at the time of his disappearance. The family moved away shortly after he went missing. The home now belongs to a private citizen who has no connection to the Fritz case or the family. New people have moved into the house after Bobby Joe went missing. Huh. Okay. Just let me double check this is not the same story that we just looked at. I think this is the same link. 212? 212, yeah. You can see how long ago it was. Look at the sort of real footage. They took the day. This is like the day the kid went missing. Look how different the neighborhood looks from 1983. That's file footage of the area. And like, yeah, here. So there's the home. Interesting. Yuda is from Wales. I haven't seen Yuda in ages. I haven't seen her in like a year. She abandoned the channel and doesn't come here anymore. So I just pretend like she doesn't exist because she doesn't drop by and talk to us anymore. I don't know, after the mushroom trial, she stopped talking to us anymore. Gail said, so no dad, maybe mum had a special friend and Bobby Joe had an accident when he found them together. I mean, possibly, maybe he walked in on something. Like the sister said, he was walking home and she saw him get to the driveway and then disappeared. So something happened between that driveway and the front door of the home. That's, yeah, she doesn't come here anymore. You only see her once in a blue moon? Yeah, I don't know. She hasn't been here in like a year. After the mushroom trial, she just stopped turning up. So we became not useful to her, I suspect. And then that's it. You know, a lot of people only come for the information that they want, and then they leave once they get what they need. They don't stick around to support anymore. It's just a sad fact of being a YouTube channel, unfortunately. Just how it is. Gail said, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. But the fact that there's like they wouldn't go to the effort of sifting through 30,000 pounds of soil and then excavating a basement if they didn't think that there was something there. Do you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't put the manpower. Like that's got to cost like thousands of dollars to bring out the forensic anthropologist and bring out the team and the different people doing all the hard work. It's not a cheap operation to sort of get done. So they must have belief that there's something there that they can get, something tangible, because they just wouldn't put the money into it otherwise. So we'll have to wait and see. But they said they found items of interest that have now gone off for testing. So wait and see. Wait and see. I was just trying to see if we had anything else on this little boy. We don't often do cases from 1983. It's a pretty, what is the Fond du Lac County Sheriff saying? They're saying they executed a search warrant at the residence and it was completed late yesterday. The scene has been given back to the property owner. They have no connection to the case. What are they saying here? They're saying they do have a forensic anthropologist and they have like DCI agents, crime scene analysts, crime lab personnel, and a forensic anthropologist. In total, investigators removed and processed approximately 500 5-gallon buckets full of dirt. That's a lot. 30,000 pounds of soil was hand sifted and items of interest were collected. They said this was a manpower intensive operation with the excavation completed entirely with hand tools. See what I mean? They wouldn't do this if they were not confident that there was something there. They wouldn't disrupt someone's home after 30, 40 years if they didn't think there was something there. But they're saying here, although we share the community's disappointment that Bobby Joe's remains were not found, investigators are optimistic that newly collected evidence will generate fresh leads and help bring answers to the 43-year-old case. So what exactly did they find in that basement that they think is going to advance the investigation? And why in the family home if they cleared the family 40 years ago? Yeah, I'm confused. I'm really confused. How do you clear a family but then dig up their basement? And who might have been hanging around the family then? Like, how would someone bury him in his own basement with no one noticing? Like, obviously he's not there, but yeah, I'm confused how that would work. This channel doesn't support the eating of wild mushrooms? No. It is unbelievable. Marlene said it would be creepy to be the owner of the house now. There's people that live in places all the time, whether it's crime, a murder, whatever. It happens. You might live in a home where someone died. Like, if you think about the history of Earth, almost every home on Earth has had someone who has died inside of it. I don't know if they're all violent crimes, but most homes have had someone pass away inside of it. So you can't think like that. It's, it happens, unfortunately. Hey, Nancy. They must have gotten a new lead. It must be someone that came through with, something. Hey, Nancy, I haven't seen you in ages. How are you? Kim's like, don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't disrupt their thing. Oh my god, I didn't even see these guys. Sweet Universe gave 100 jewels. And Kathy gave 2 jewels, thank you. Chili, 6 jewels. Silver Star. Half of these didn't show up on my chat. 20 jewels, thank you guys. And a silver star. Oh my god, Kathy, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, by the way, Kathy sent a donation last night. Kathy, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being a great friend. I really appreciate Kathy just listens to me ramble sometimes, and I appreciate it. It's very kind. I'm very thankful for her friendship. I appreciate it. Uncle alert. No, these gems are weird, guys. I'm gonna have to look into what they do, but I appreciate it. You guys giving me all these gems today. I'd love to know what they are. I don't even know what to do with them. Do we do anything with them, or they just go to the same place that the super chats go to? I'm gonna have to look it up. Nancy said, I'm normally sleeping when you're live. I live in Indiana. Hi. Hello, Indiana. I hope you're having a great time over there in the summer. I hope the July has been a great 250th anniversary and, like enjoying all the festivities and fireworks and all the community events and stuff like that. I hope it's been a great American summer for you. I hope you've had a great summer over there. Thank you for being a part of the channel. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's a shame that there's some people who act like they're so supportive and then just take off at the randomly like that. It's very upsetting to the creator like me, because people like that person who we won't name. When I was doing the mushroom trial, they were here every night and acting so supportive, and then as soon as the trial's over, they piss off and don't come back. It's makes the creator feel a little bit used in a way. Haphazard said, it's so annoying that the UK we can't hype or send jewels yet. Not yet? Sean said I sent you 2 lots of jewels. Sean. I saw you this one. Here, super chat. But I don't see any jewels from you, bud. Yeah, I'm clicking through. Oh, my friend Kim sent that one. Jules sent that one. I don't see any from you, bud. And then Haphazard said it's so annoying. Yeah, I will have to look into it. You had to reload? Okay. Pamela said, I'm from Indiana too. We attract a lot of people from Indiana, California, Arizona, Utah, and Texas. There and even New York. We've got a few people from New York too. But for some reason, it's all the western side of the US, like the Pacific sort of coast area. Oh, Seattle. We have a lot of people from Seattle, Seattle, Washington. We have a few people from Canada as well. Yeah, we seem to attract from like the middle of the country over to the Pacific Ocean, and then we have a lot of people from the UK as well. Actually, the people from the UK and Australia are sort of like second tied, so we get both at the same sort of percentage, which is interesting considering I'm Australian, yet we attract more Americans and people from the Western United States than we do Australians. It's weird. Hey, hey, Linda, how are you? Linda versus Linda. Hey, a corgi, 1,000 jewels. Thank you, my friend. That is very kind, very kind. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, based on TikTok style gifting. I've got a TikTok channel that has 1 video on it. That's it. I don't use it. Yeah, what? Hold on, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Yeah, Linda, that's very kind. Thank you. What are YouTube gifting gems? I don't know what these are. YouTube gifting gems refer to jewels and virtual gifts, a digital tipping system where viewers buy bundles of jewels to send animated on-screen gifts. Do you guys see the animations? Is there an animation that comes up when I click on them? It doesn't show it for me, but does it show it when because I'm on a different software? If I click these when you guys say silver star, does it come up with the animation for you guys? It does? Hey, I like it. Hey, I can't see it, but I'm glad you guys can. That's cool. And then a sparkles one. Huh. And then a chili. Ah, so it's sort of like the TikTok thingy. Ah, okay. You saw a corgi? Here, let me see. Was that you, my friend? Yeah, there you go. Is that the corgi? You guys have to let me know like how long you have to leave them up for to see the animation. It shows when you click it. Ah. When it's sent, it's on screen. Oh, okay. Huh. This is all new to me. I've not seen them before. So what does it say? It says when creators receive these gifts, they earn rubies, which are valued at 1 cent each. 100 rubies equals $1 USD and is just paid out through the same place that we get the super chats from. What does it say here? Gifting memberships, a separate feature. No, we don't want to know about that, although we do have that. Oh, that's the other thing. Because of the YouTube change that is coming up and happened, I think YouTube reset a lot of people's memberships, and then I think you were supposed to get an email about it, and I don't think anyone did, because there was a lot of people that just didn't renew their memberships last month. If you could check, if you're a member of this channel and you're normally a member and you get your sort of like month to month like advancement, if you have not renewed your membership, you may lose your month to month advancement and then you'll have to start all over again. So I don't know what happened. I think it's something to do with the new changes to everything, but there was about 50 people that didn't have their memberships last month. I'm not saying that I want you to pay for it, but if that is something you wanted to do and you normally do, you may not even realize that you don't have it anymore, because I can see it on my end and it looks like, yeah, it's really weird. It's very strange. So I think it was something to do with the changes. Jill said, ping's on the way to becoming a millionaire, 1 cent at a time. How long would that take? Let's have a look. Where's my calculator? Here. How many? It's it would take 100 million jewels, like those jewels. It would take 100 million jewels. We could get there. Yeah, so but there is a lot of people who I think didn't get the email from YouTube, and then for some reason, I'm not sure what's 100% going on, but there is this new system coming in August. They've been sending us emails as a creator about it for like a couple of months now, and I think it's screwed up a few people with it. So, Pamela, actually, Pamela, it's showing you as not a member. So I don't know if you. Oh, is it? Yeah. See how this one is got the little thing on the side. That means that Jules is a member, but your one is not. So yeah, yeah. So see what I mean? I think a lot of people got caught out and then didn't renew, which is fine. Like if you don't want to, you're having a hard month, costs are hard or something. I get it, man. It's tough out there, but I just wanted to let people know that we've noticed that there was so for some reason there's something going on with YouTube where people weren't automatically renewed where they normally are. So hopefully that is your sort of update on that. I will. Is he a friend of yours, Robert? I thought it was you. I thought it was you for a minute. I thought it was you, buddy. I thought it was Robert for a minute. It shows on my end. It shows I am on my end. Yeah, see, I think there's a problem. There's something going on with some people. So just your reminder to check it out and just have a look. Robert's a gift. Thank you. Hopefully someone who needs it gets it, like Pamela maybe. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. You're very kind. Yeah. I wonder if these jewels are now going to become really confusing for us too. Very interesting. Very interesting. I guess with the TikTok thing and that, where they have those like roses and things like that, I guess they're trying to compete with the TikTok type of system. Yeah. All right. What else do we have? I got one more story. Oh, Nancy got it. Good work, Nancy. Nancy got it. All right. I have one more story. One more for you guys tonight. And this one is very interesting because it involves a YouTuber. So there is a YouTuber who has been arrested. A YouTuber charged after authorities allege he swapped luxury fragrances with modeling clay in $250,000 return fraud scheme. So he was obviously using something like Amazon, and he was ordering these things from Amazon, and he would take the perfume out, keep the perfume, and then return the box with modeling clay that weighed the same amount as the perfume. So he would weigh the perfume, weigh the modeling clay, put it inside the package, and return the item. So he was ordering all these perfumes to review on his channel, and he was basically doing it with fraudulently. So they're saying a YouTuber with more than 3,000 followers who regularly showcased his perfume collection has been charged after authorities in Illinois alleged he carried out a scheme that swapped luxury fragrances with modeling clay before returning them for refunds. They're saying the investigation began in March after Nordstrom contacted the sheriff's police organized retail crime unit. Remember we spoke about that a while ago, that the different states in America now are having these organized retail crime units, and if you get charged under these laws, you could face life in jail. There was a guy in Texas who got done with it not long ago, and he got life in jail for stealing Lego. So you got to be really careful. They're saying here that he returned the original products, and that the original perfume had been removed from the box and replaced with modeling clay and carefully resealed to look like they had not been opened. Authorities allege Carter would order thousands of dollars worth of high-end fragrances online before contacting retailers to initiate returns. He would then allegedly remove the original bottles and seal them with modeling clay inside. Yeah, wow, look at the photo of how many perfumes. Look how many they were able to get. This is how many he bought and returned to Nordstrom, Amazon, and multiple other online places. And he thought that no one was going to catch on. Are you serious? You know, when stores start losing lots of money, they are going to figure it out. What an absolute dumbass. Here's a photo of dumbass over here. He looks like a bit of a dumbass. Yep, he has that haircut. It's very dumbass. There you go. This guy here, his name is Carter. He was a YouTuber just like me, a small YouTuber, just like Ping. And he decided, do you know what I'm going to do to get famous on YouTube? I'm going to take $250,000 worth of perfume. You only had 3,000 subscribers. Why would you need $250,000 worth of perfume? Why? If you had 300 million subscribers, maybe. If you had 300,000 subscribers, I could see it. 3,000 subscribers. And you need $250,000 worth of perfume to review on your channel? I don't think so, buddy. There's no way you're going to get a financial return of 3,000 subscribers to be able to keep that perfume review going unless the company sent it to you for review for free. You can't be like robbing. Yeah. Huh, weird, Sean. I don't know. So Sean showed me an email that he's been sending Jules for like the entire show. But on my side of things, I don't have it. Oh, wait, no, I do. Hey, I have it. It came up. Hey, Sean, he says press F. And Sweet Universe, thank you, my guy. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Hey, there we go, Sean. We see one. There you go. It says 10 joules. Hey, finally. Hey, Danny, how are you? Danny says this guy stinks. All right, let's see what else we can find about this fella. Mr. Stinky Channel 3000. Let's have a look. What's his name? Maybe this was his whole plan. I'm going to get arrested and this is going to make my channel infamous. His name is Philip Carter. He's 30 years old. And he's currently now facing a bunch of charges in Chicago. Yeah, I'm going to take you out to NBC 5 if I can. Okay, no video, unfortunately. The operation from the sheriff's department was called Operation Eau de Fraud, which is pretty funny. And they're saying here that they recovered over 714 fragrances that had been resealed and ready to ship, packages that contain modeling clay instead of a product. Wow. Why? Why would you document your criminal proceeds on crime, like online? That's so silly. Yeah. I want to see if we can find anything else about him. Yeah, let's see if we can find anything. So Fox 32 also has a we got a mugshot. Same mugshot as before, but there he is. He looks real happy. I wonder, you know, it'd be so funny if the cops, when they arrested him, walked into the police station and went over to him and went, "What fragrance are you wearing?" Like that would have been so perfect. Like, you know, chef's kiss. That would have been that would have been amazing. It'd be so like so funny. They'd have it on video and then they'd just laugh at it at every Christmas party. They're saying here, what are they saying? Oh, so this is his channel right here. Here.
Welcome back, everyone, to Philip Carter X Official. Everyone, we have an amazing,
Your voice is fucking annoying. I don't think I can listen to your channel.
peculiar selection of fragrances.
Shut the fuck up. You're very annoying. The guy's got the most annoying voice in the world. I do too, but you know, that's a bit different. They're saying here on Thursday, the Cook County State Attorney's Office, sorry about the swearing, approved 3 counts of mail fraud against Carter. He was also charged with 3 misdemeanor counts of theft by deception. He's lucky it's only so little charges after 714 fragrance bottles were recovered, amounting to $250,000. He's very lucky to get away with only 3 charges of mail fraud and only 3 charges of theft by deception. Yeah, this guy.
This is for today, as always. If you enjoy my content, if you enjoy my work, my friend,
we do enjoy your content. As a thief, we're enjoying it right now. I'm running it on my true crime channel. It's great. Thank you for the content. It's been fantastic to finish my show today with. So yeah, Mr. Carter, I don't know what exactly he will get in trouble with, but it could be I don't think it'd be jail, but the judge will take into account that he has stolen about $250,000, which when you get up over about 100 grand, you're starting to talk about jail time because they can't just like magic the charges away. Yeah, 3 counts of mail fraud. Yeah, I'm just trying to see like what would you get done with this? So he's apparently out pending trial. They're saying the charges were deemed non-detainable. So he's actually out pending a trial over the charges on this perfume. That's interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting that he won't get in trouble. Well, he will, but it won't be severe. They couldn't even keep him behind bars for it. But hey, how would you like to have your YouTube channel all over the local news? That would be pretty interesting. Let me see. I want to see what else we can find about him. I can't believe like that was his plan to fund his YouTube channel. I think that's very childish. You know, I think your viewers would have respected you more. You know, I think they would have respected you more if you bought one perfume a month and did a really quality review of it. And I think if you just said, look, this is what I can afford to buy each month to review, and that's why we do like one video a month, I think your viewers would appreciate the authenticity in your situation. I think they would prefer that rather than you trying to do this. Trying to have like why do you need multiples? If you're using these to review, why do you need multiples of the same perfume or aftershave? Like, see how he's got multiple of the same type? Why do you need 3 of the same thing to review? It sounds like this might be less YouTube, maybe more criminal. Maybe he was reselling them to people online for more money. Yeah, no updates on the Ann Widdecombe thing. Jeez, what's going on here? No updates on the Ann Widdecombe thing. Yeah, I'm going to take you over here. No updates to the woman that has gone missing in Florida who's wanted on a who's wanted on basically that murder charge in Florida. I don't have anything new on that either. Yeah, I'm just double checking, but I don't believe so. Yeah, they still have not caught that woman. That woman who's been wait, hold on. What are they saying? They're saying that she has been changing her appearance. Here, I'm going to show it to you. I can't play the video, but they're saying that all these photos of Isabel are different photos of her over the recent period. So these ones are where she was in custody, but these new ones are from places they've been tracking her across the country, trying to get her in on this murder charge. So you can see how she's shaved her head, changed her hair. Now she's wearing glasses. She even tried to wear a hat. I sent you a link to Ann Widdecombe. Yes, I don't think there's a big update really, other than they're basically saying that he killed her with a hammer? Jeez. Hold on, I'll take you out there in a minute. But yeah, no update to the one in Florida with Isabel. But they are saying that she continues to move around Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, and that she is preying on people who give her generosity. So she's been coming up with these stories like DV and you know, people are after her and she needs help. And kind people have been helping her without knowing that she's a murder suspect and that she is wanted for first-degree murder in Florida. So there's your little update on that. Okay, let me try and get to police update. Okay. Yeah, let me try and take you out to that if I can. I don't know which one I'm allowed to use. All right, I'm going to take you out to 9 in Australia.
Prosecutors in the UK have revealed shocking details about how a politician was murdered in her own home. A 28-year-old man faced court today accused of killing Anne Widdecombe a fortnight ago.
It was here in her home in Devon where Anne Widdecombe was killed on July 8 as she was preparing for an online interview with the UK's Channel 5. Prosecutors told a British courtroom 28-year-old Joshua Carey entered through her front door and struck the 78-year-old with a hammer 21 times, killing her as she ate lunch. The court heard the attack was carried out with a ferocity of violence and was caught on security camera, with Carey accused of taking her wallet before leaving. The alarm was first raised when producers couldn't reach her for her pre-arranged interview. Her body was discovered by a gardener the next day. The former Tory minister, with more than 20 years' experience in Parliament, was close friends with Nigel Farage and was serving in a role as his Reform Party's immigration and justice spokesperson at the time of her death. The traditionalist became a popular TV celebrity on shows like Big Brother and Strictly Come Dancing. Prosecutors said police are still investigating whether there was terrorism or political motivation for the attack. The accused is set to face court again in October. He is yet to enter a plea. In London, Josh Bavis, 9 News. 8-year-old with a hammer.
What a brutal way. Hey. What a brutal way to die, hey? 21 times with a hammer. It's unsub. Yep. I liked her before she got with that idiot. Unsub. Hey Jules, are you unsubbing from my channel? Okay. Nancy said, my word, that was a violent, but I don't understand the motivations behind it. This guy drove like hundreds of miles, just took off one morning and decided to go to a older woman's home, 78 years old, she's almost 80, and bludgeon her to death with a hammer. But I really don't understand why. Like, I mean, I get they're saying it might be politically motivated, but she's an older woman. Why would you? I don't understand why you would hurt this woman. Like, I get it. Oh my God, she runs policy that I don't agree with. Yes, fine, but it takes a lot more than that to go to someone's home and hit them in the head 21 times with a hammer in such a violent outburst of an attack. Like, this is a rage killing. That's what it is. It's a rage killing. Here's the sketch from the courtroom, by the way. This is him sitting in court. He doesn't have the long hair. I don't know what happened to the long hair we saw in the other photos, but no longer with the long hair. They're saying here, the court heard that security camera footage from the property indicated Widdecombe had been attacked on July 8. Carey is seen to have entered her bungalow through the front door while she was eating her lunch after driving there from his home in Rotherham in South Yorkshire. The prosecutor said they claimed Carey was in the house for about 2 minutes before driving off, allegedly taking her wallet from her handbag. What? They're saying the alarm was raised after she failed to attend a pre-arranged online interview for Channel 5's Matt Allwright show shortly before 1 p.m. Producers from the show have said to have tried to contact her and her personal assistant several times. She was found lying face down on her kitchen floor by her gardener on the morning of the 9th of July, declared dead by emergency services shortly afterwards. They say a provisional cause of death was given by the pathologist as blunt force trauma to the head. Wow, I don't get it. Like, I understand you don't like what she stood for. That's fine. That's politics. You're not always going to like what people have to say in politics. There's always two sides or more to politics, but to drive across the country and bludgeon an older woman in her home eating her lunch is something very different. Hey, my friend. Yeah, Sean the Sheet. Sean the Sheet. That's his new name. Sean the Sheet. That's Sean's new name. Yeah, Sean gave a membership. Thank you. It's very kind. Thank you. Hopefully 2 people got it that need it, and, that is very kind. It was short before he killed her. Yeah, he must have cut it in the years before because the photo we had was about 5 years old. So, yeah, Joshua Kerry's only 28 years old. I just don't understand. I get murder. We talk about it every night on this channel. But why her being such a target? I mean, I know she was outspoken. I know she talked about things that no one likes, but here I can show you when he was charged with murder too. We'll go to Sky News.
Political life in this country has been clear to see since her death on the 8th of July. I hope some of the tributes paid over the last week have been of comfort to her family, who are also being supported by our specialist family liaison officers. Earlier today, detectives from counter-terrorism policing were informed that following a submission of evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service, charges have now been authorised. We have charged Joshua Kerry, a 28-year-old British national of Burley Road, Rotherham, South Yorkshire, with her murder. He is still in custody and will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court tomorrow morning for his first hearing. It remains the case that we are not looking for anyone else in connection with this incident. I know there has been significant interest in this case, and rightly so. I want to make it very clear that our investigation into this individual, determining his motivations and any wider activity he may have been involved in, is continuing. Given Anne Widdecombe's profile and the targeted nature of the attack, determining the motivation, including any possible political motivation, remains an active avenue of investigation for our detectives.
Look, I get it. You have him on the camera killing her. That's enough, right? It's enough to charge him with the crime and get him in court. If you take him to trial, you don't need to prove a motivation. A motivation is not a foundation of a murder charge. You don't need to do that. You only need to prove that they committed the crime. You don't need to provide a reason of why. It's not something the jury needs. You just need to be able to prove that he is responsible for the death of Anne Widdecombe. So I get it, but at the same time, it's just sad that this woman was killed in her own home from some random guy she'd never met, didn't know him, and you know, was supposed to be in the twilight years of her life after, spending many years in the public domain, in public service to what she believed the greater good of England. Whether you agree with that or not, that's your prerogative. But in her mind, she was doing it for the greater good of what she thought would shape the UK. I'm not saying you have to agree with her politics, but that is what she was doing with her life. And to be killed for that is, it should never happen. It should never happen. It's like people who shoot and like Trump. Like he was almost shot and killed on the campaign trail. I don't think even the staunchest critics of Trump would like to see him assassinated on a podium. You can hate him for his policies, you can hate him for who he is, you can hate him for what he's done to the country, but you don't have the right to kill him. And that's very different. And I feel the same way here, that you may not agree with her politics, but she didn't deserve to be brutally murdered with a hammer in her home for it. So I think we have to draw a line, a very severe line, and tell people that it's not good enough. It's not okay. It's not okay to kill political opposition in this way in a Western country. So, yeah, we're going to get out of here. Oh, shoot, it's like 5 o'clock. All right. Sorry, we've been on really late. I'm going to get out of here. I'm sorry. I didn't realize we'd been on for so long. All right. I love you all. Hey, if you haven't liked the thing, we have to get back to that 100 likes on every video. You got to help me. Ping is calling for your help. Try and get it to that 100 again every video. I would appreciate it. That really helps out, gets our visibility up, and helps, spread the videos. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Hey, look at all these crazy things from tonight. Look, Kathy, thank you, my friend. All these jewels from, by the way, Sweet Universe, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Same with Sean. Thank you. I appreciate the donation. Look at all these like jewel things. Look how many. I don't know what they do, but we'll find out. And Sean sent a super chat. Thank you very much. Diane Marie sends almost 500 jewels. Thank you. And our secret friend Haphazard, I don't know who that might be, sent £5. Thank you. That's a great donation. Thank you. And Linda with 1,000 and a corgi. Sweet Universe with more jewels. Sean sent 10. Thank you. Robert gifted a membership. Thank you very much. Danny's been a member for 2 years. Danny, thank you. Hey, he made it. He made it to the magical 24-month button. I appreciate it. We have some changes coming for the members. We will announce them closer to the Samantha Murphy trial, but we have some fun things for you. So if you want to be involved in that, keep your memberships going. But we have something very interesting that'll give you guys some fun and hopefully give you some extras to go with your memberships, because we'd like to give some stuff back to people. All right, and Sean gifted 2 memberships. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Wow, that was a bunch of things to go through. Thank you. That is very kind, and it definitely makes me feel better. Thank you. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, do you guys want me to come on earlier tomorrow? We can probably come on at what is it? Probably 11. If you guys want me to come on at 11 p.m., that would be good. All right, my friend. I love you, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Good night, everyone. Bye.